Привет, меня зовут Олег, я делаю онлайн-курсы английского, чаще с юмором, но иногда и без. Например, этот курс я назвал Картинглиш, это курс-рассказ о человеке, которому нужно украсть один из 12 шедевров живописи, чтобы выжить. В ходе курса вы читаете рассказ, знакомитесь со словами по теме искусства и выполняете задания. Также к курсу прилагается специальная доска в сервисе Мира. Заходите на курс по ссылке в описании видео. Добро пожаловать на курс. Удачи! А я наконец начинаю.
It was a dark, still night. The city was sleeping. Electric lights illuminated narrow streets with cobblestones, tiny houses, and rare pedestrians. The town clock struck 12 p.m. A man appeared in the light spot. He wore a black coat and a hat. He stood opposite an old two-story house. There was an antique store on the first floor. The man came to the door. He looked around and took a key from his pocket. The man opened the door and came in. There were many old things: vases, statuettes, globes, mannequins, dolls, and paintings. But Edgar, it was his name, only smiled. "This is not what I came for," he thought. A couple of weeks ago, Edgar came to see an old man. The old man owed him money, but he couldn't pay off the debt. Edgar was not one of those who could forgive a debt. He threatened the poor old man. When the old man saw a knife in Edgar's hand, he gave up. He told Edgar where there was money. An old man's ex-wife had an antique store, and he had a key. But the old man wanted to get revenge on his wife. "Don't look at the store. There are only copies and forgeries. The real expensive stuff is on the second floor, where she lives." It was my collection of paintings. Each of them cost at least $100,000. But when we got divorced, she sued everything. $1,000 for dope? If you're lying, I will kill you. And the old man gave the key to Edgar. He also told him when Eve left home. And now Edgar was there. He ascended to the second floor. A small lantern enlightened the wood steps, walls, and furniture. At last Edgar came to the long passage. He was astonished a little bit. What does such a long passage do in this tiny house? The passage was grey and dilapidated. Every step made a creak. There were several doors, but Edgar identified his door at once. It had a turquoise tint. The key fit the door. At last he came into the dark room. He noticed there were no windows at all. He stood in the center of the room. There were no sounds from the street. Edgar was scared a little bit. He held his breath and felt something. He pointed his lantern at the wall and saw a painting. It was St. George and the Dragon by Bernard Martorell. Edgar crossed himself for the first time in many years. Suddenly he heard a voice. "This will not save you, Edgar." Edgar felt for the knife in his pocket. "Who is here?" The next moment the door was closed with a bang. An invisible source turned on the light. Edgar found himself surrounded by 12 paintings. They soared in the air against the background of white wallpaper.